Hey guys, welcome to another Fighting Indoctrination TV episode. I'm your host, Tony J. Back with another episode. This is going to be a brief one right now because I felt like I needed to jump on here. I got some two upcoming episodes coming soon. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and click the bell for more notifications because I got some more videos in store for you, but today I wanted to really jump in and take a brief moment to address this issue with Kevin Samuels. Now, as you know, Kevin Samuels died this week at the age of 57 of a cardiac arrest. And right now, what I'm seeing in social media and what I'm seeing on Twitter has got to be very troubling, because I'm seeing something that is, we've gotten to our very lowest point as a society, and also as a nation, to be honest. The first time I watched Kevin Samuels, it was during the middle of the pandemic, right around late 2020, around that time. I thought that Kevin Samuels' material was a little bit biting, but at the same time, I said to myself, this is just his persona. This is something that he does for fun. But he also tells an unvarnished truth about African American women and also African American men and how we approach relationships. I don't think he's no different than a Sally Jesse Raphael or Ricky Lake or any of these talk show people that we had in the 90s that address these same issues. One of the biggest problems right now is, as a society, we've become so offended by opinions instead of facts. And whether you believe it or not, Kevin Samuels' material was just that. It was opinions. You didn't have to sit through episode after episode to listen to this man. You didn't have to dislike him, or you didn't have to really give his material any attention, but you gave it to him anyway. And millions of people had tuned in every night. Millions and millions of people tuned in on Instagram to watch him do these things. Why? Because it was entertainment. Okay? And I think with black folks right now on these websites, the thing about social media is we're being sucked into it so much that we think it's real life now. And I think that's the saddest thing. Some of you can't distinguish it anymore. It's like social media has morphed into something that has become extremely toxic to some of you and to some of us. And with Kevin Samuels' death, I'm starting to see a realization and an awakening that I've never seen before in people. We're not just talking about black people. I'm talking about people in general who were taken by this man's commentary. What I find very troubling is that when this man passed away, because I don't know him personally, you have African American women and African American men who are from a certain sect of the social media realm, which is the conscious community, or for the lack of a better word, the Hotep community. And you have a lot of these men and women who sitting up here celebrating this man's death as if it's he got what he got, or it was karma for something that he said, for some opinions that he said on social media, for the denigration of African American women. And that to me is very, very troubling. I am deeply disturbed by the comments and by the commentary that I'm seeing floating around, talking about, well, God bless his family, but you get what you get. The ancestors got him, and all this stuff, and death to a misogynist. I'm like, death to a misogynist. Well, what does that mean? Misogyny noir. Well, what does that mean? This man was at the end of the day, this was somebody's father. You gonna talk about somebody's father like that? This man had daughters. This man had a mother. And you gonna get on social media and you gonna talk crap about a dead man? It is troubling. I'm like, I can understand you not agreeing with some of his material, but to wish death on anybody, I don't care if you like them or not. I have friends that I don't like, okay? But would I ever wish death upon them? No, I would never do that. That's horrible. It's something that was said a long time ago when Biggie was still alive and Tupac was shot. And he said, I never wish death on anybody because ain't no coming back from that. He said that in a Joe Clair interview, and then a few weeks later he was dead. So when you come to that realization, like, at the end of the day, we all gonna leave this earth one way or another. Okay? At some point we gotta stop with this back and forth that we're seeing in social media with the black community, and this finger pointing and and relationship guru nonsense. We got to stop with this. This is not what we're sitting out here on one end talking about Black Lives Matter, and then on the other spectrum of this, we're saying, well, his life didn't matter because he had talked down to African American women. So it's the hypocrisy that I'm trying to address with this issue of Kevin Samuels' death. You wouldn't say that about your family members. You don't know this man from a can of paint, and yet you know so much about this man's life, as if you sat at the table with him, as if you were a part of his family. No, you're just a fan. And with fans, just like I said with the issue with Cosby, with Bill Cosby, and everybody saying what they were saying, I'm like, bro, you didn't grow up with him. You're not a family member. So what gives you the right to talk about somebody like that? You don't even know this man. You only saw him on TV. You only know him as Dr. Huxtable. You don't know him as Bill Cosby. So when y'all sit up there and say stuff about Bill Cosby and how horrible of a person he was, that at the end of the day, make sure you remember, when it comes to death, nobody gets spared, not even children. Okay? Everything got a clock on it. Everything in this earth is temporary. At the end of the day, Kevin Samuels did what he loved. And you might not have liked it. Okay? You didn't have to watch his shit if you didn't want to. But you did anyway. Okay? But to wish death on somebody that you don't even know, that's foul and it's vile. And I also watched the interview, the panel with Roland Martin, in the panel talking about Kevin Samuels being a misogynist and being a bad person, and you get what you get. But at the same time, I'm like, look, okay, just like anything else, that was entertainment. Can you tell the difference between entertainment and truth? Because I think a lot of people got a problem with that right now. A lot of people don't understand the difference between entertainment and reality. I watch many people like Kevin Samuels on social media. I don't take them seriously. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't watch their material. Would you say the same thing if Tanya TKO died, or any of these female commentators that talk bad about African American men? Would you say the same thing? No, you wouldn't. So why is it okay for Black Americans to sit up on social media and Twitter and celebrate the death of a man you don't even know? And it goes and you're sitting around and you're saying Black Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff. But look at what you do to your own people. Look at what we do to our own people. At the end of the day, nobody wants to tell the truth. Anytime in the Black community you want to tell the truth, you get castigated for it. And that's one of the issues that I find very problematic with this new age of social media, especially for African Americans. If you tell something that is not on code with the whole narrative of white supremacy and white people coming in our neighborhood and killing our children and women and children and shit like that, all of a sudden you're an Uncle Tom or you're a raccoon. And that's one of the issues that has to stop. All this stuff, you're going around attacking a man, flagging a man down. Just, I mean, I understand that it's par for the course. That's what social media is all about. But the slightest disagreements create the biggest resentments in our community. Remember when we had disagreements too, in the 50s and the 60s? Remember what happened to Malcolm when he deviated from the Nation of Islam and he didn't agree with the nation and how they ran things. And then when he decided he wanted to go on his own, what happened? And you can't say it was white supremacy or the FBI that did it. Everybody had a hand in killing this man simply because he had an idea that was completely different from the mainstream of Black consciousness. This madness has to stop. We cannot no longer put ourselves in a position where we're still as a community, and I'm speaking to this from the perspective of the African American community. We cannot keep throwing people under the bus because you disagree with certain opinions about certain people. We cannot progress as a society unless we foster dissent and how we handle dissent. And I feel like Kevin Samuels' death was a catalyst for exposing the ugly side of our community. You don't get on social media and celebrate the death of a man because he talked bad about African American women. This man didn't hurt or kill nobody. And then you have somebody like Roland Martin who had a panel put together on his network, a network that's supposed to be for black people, to sit up there and then denigrate a man you don't even know nothing about. And you allowed this panel to sit up there and say whatever they wanted to say about this man, and his mother has to sit back and watch. Kevin Samuels' mother has to sit back and watch this mess to go on social media. She found out about her son's death through social media. How sad is that? That you got to find out the death of your loved one on social media. You ain't no different than the people who sit up there and bring up somebody's dirt while they in the ground. Now I understand you can't celebrate, you in order to understand the whole person. You can't sit there and make them a saint when they're not. But at the same time, this person didn't kill anybody. Okay, he said an opinion. He had a couple of words, and that was it. It was a fucking YouTube channel. Okay, this man had no power beyond that. But you know what's so funny? I wonder if the people that actually exploit black people ever get the same type of vitriol that this man got. I don't see anybody talk trash about Maury Povich. I don't see anybody talking trash about Jerry Springer when he sat up there and allowed two black women to fight on national TV in the 90s. Talk shows been making jokes about black women for the longest time, going all the way back to the 90s, and that had nothing to do with African American men. These were white men. The Jerry Springers, the Richard Bays, the Morton Downey Jr.'s. You got people like Al Sharpton and Roy Ennis fighting on national TV on a Morton Downey Jr. show, and and we sit there and we don't criticize Morton Downey Jr. for showing that shit on TV. Two civil rights activists fighting on TV, pushing each other and punching each other on national TV. You didn't see anybody criticize that then. You don't give that same white man that exploit you on a daily basis that same type of vitriol that you gave Kevin Samuels. Because at the end of the day, Kevin Samuels only told the truth about us at the end of the day, in our unrealistic expectations, in our entitlements about certain things. He didn't just get on African American women, he got on black men too. You just didn't want to sift through that information. You only wanted to you only wanted to look for the information that you found more appealing to your mind and say, yeah, this man is scum. I will never let a man talk to me like this. Who does he think he is? You got women on social media and Twitter talking about let's cancel. I'm like, bro, cancel him. I read in the Root 3 days before. Oh, when will Kevin Samuels be canceled? I'm like, huh? This man only been on here for like two and a half years, and already you trying to cancel him? Already you trying to shut his shit down? He ain't called no women out their name. When's the first time he ever called a woman the B word? I didn't hear him say that. I didn't hear him call any woman the B word on his show. He just told them the truth. He told them the truth. But you got women, you got a lot of women up here who they know they ain't shit, sitting up here celebrating the death of a man. And I'm like, you know what? That's why you are where you are, and you wonder why why we got this high murder rate going, reverberating across the nation, because of the stuff the dysfunctions that we're seeing in our own community, but choose to ignore. Because we want to create a narrative in our minds that's positive. We don't want to create the ugly narrative. We don't want to talk about our dirty laundry. Kevin Samuels was able to bring that out. And what did y'all do? Y'all crucified him. Y'all crucified him, and then now he's dead. And that's sad. I'm sitting here, I'm like, yo, this is not real. This is shocking. At the pinnacle of his success, he's gone. But that goes to show you, life is too short. You spending time on social media dragging a man's name through the mud, and yet, has your life improved? Has your life changed? No, it hasn't. Because you spent so much time on social media trying to drag a man's name that you know nothing about. Didn't make friends with this man, didn't sit down with this man, didn't even talk with this man. This man 57 years old. Got a college education. Is the member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. Huh? That's what y'all do to your own people? This is what we do? I don't think any white man, you can't point to any white man that has done this that has done this. You can't point to any white man. We do this to each other. We treat each other in a disdain and a disrespectful manner. And it's gotta stop. And that's all I got, man. Like, I'm done with this. This social media has become such a demented place in an evil realm. It's just such a evil place to actually be. And I can't say enough about this. The fact that people are being flagged on Facebook, and people are having their accounts deleted for having an opinion about a woman. Yet you can go through the whole gamut of all these groups on social media that talk trash about men all the time, and yet they go unchecked. This whole year has been the complete disrespect of black men. Like, I can't really drive that point down enough. It's a blatant thing. It's become more blatant now to disrespect black men. And you got women out here who feel like it's okay to do it. And I'm not going to just put it on all the onus on the woman. I'm going to put it on the men too. We disrespect each other. I mean, look at what the media has done these last 5 months. The whole Kanye situation, the Will Smith slap at the Oscars. Then now, Dave Chappelle being attacked on stage, and now y'all sitting up here celebrating the death of a man you know nothing about because he had an opinion. And then while that's happening, you got black men who have served 30, 40 to 50 years in prison for a crime they didn't even commit, just coming out of prison. I mean, this country does not love black men. They don't like black men. Black men are being disposed of at an alarming rate. And it's sickening. It's kind of like what the whites did when they went out west and killed all the water buffalo off. And then by the time the winter got here, they didn't have any more water buffalo left. Didn't have any more bison to kill off. What we're seeing right now with black men is that we're being killed off at an alarming rate. There's going to be so many of us dead and in the ground that by the time we realize it, people are going to be like, are there any more black men left? Because at this point, we're becoming disvalued and dishonored. And we're also disrespecting each other in the process of them disrespecting us. So even with all this Black Lives Matter movement mess, we still got an issue with how we see black men and black men with an opinion about women. And it's just, you know, if you don't respect anybody else's opinion, it is okay not to like an opinion, like another person's opinion, but to sit up there and try to dismantle them or celebrate their demise. I mean, what's there to say deep down you might celebrate the demise of one of your family members because you didn't agree with what they did or what they said to you? All this shit comes full circle. Everything comes full circle with Kevin Samuels' death. And I think we need to be a little bit more careful about the energy that we're putting out here, because we're getting to a point of no return. Our society is breaking apart. It's fracturing. It's coming apart. It's brittle at the ends, and we're not going to be able to come back from what we're about to see in the social media world if we allow this type of stuff to continue. The lack of decorum and the lack of tact that you have for somebody you don't even know. I'm going to let this one stand. I'm Tony J. And remember to keep fighting indoctrination. I'm out. Peace.